For a decade it's been too dry and now it's too wet for grain growers. Heavy rain during harvest time wiped more than $1 billion off the national grain outlook. Still, the state's farmers say it could have been a lot worse. Adrian Francis reports.
The past 12 months have been a roller coaster for farmers.
This year, people's expectations were particularly high because things had been so tough and they thought this was going to drag them out of the mire.
But prolonged above average rainfall and hail brought a new nightmare.
So we just simply couldn't physically get onto the ground to harvest the crops. We were bogging the header, we were bogging all our machinery and the tractors and what have you.
New South Wales farmers are anxious not to harp on about loss following the Queensland disasters. Nonetheless, hundreds of thousands of tonnes of grain is being downgraded to stock feed. So Angus, what's wrong with this grain?
Well, as you can see, the moisture has just started to shoot the grain. So some of these, very few of them, but some of these grains have just started to germinate.
More than $1 billion has been slashed off the wheat outlook by the nation's agricultural forecaster. The losses continue to mount.
They're talking, there could be up to 20% in some states that has not been stripped at this stage.
Fortunately, grain prices are buoyant. There are other positives too.
There's as much grass around as we've seen for many, many years, probably 30 or 40 years.
But there's a lingering cash drought and not enough stock to capitalise.
After you've been flogged for 10 years with really dry times, people still are very nervous about going and putting their properties back to full stocking rates.
Nonetheless, there are some ambitious plans underway.
The drying silos particularly means that we can harvest the wheat when it's too wet ordinarily, and that means that we can harvest for longer every day.
New South Wales farmers were expecting to harvest up to 17 million tonnes of grain by the end of this month. It's still unclear how much of that crop has been wiped out. Adrian Francis, ABC News, Goulburn.